Hey everyone, Ashley here. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is the look we're going to be creating today. It's a halo eyeshadow with a fun pop of teal in the center of the eye. I'm using the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette with some Morphe brushes. Here's a blending brush. This one doesn't have a specific number on it, but I'm dipping into the shade Mesh, and then I'm placing this on the front portion of the lid. I'm going to be leaving the center blank, so I'm blending this upwards up towards the brow, above the crease, and just kind of feathering that top edge. Have like a smooth gradient. Then I'm going to do the same thing in the outer corner, and then gently making like a V-type shape in the outer corner, following the upward slope of my lower lash line, and then bringing it in towards the center, leaving the middle blank, and then blending out that top edge. This is going to be our base shade. It's super soft and similar to my skin tone. Next, I'm going to apply this same shade to the lower lash line, just kind of sweeping it back and forth, bringing it in towards the inner corner, like so, softly blending it out. Next, I'm taking more of a pencil type brush from Morphe. Again, this one really doesn't have a name on it, and I'm dipping into the shade Tender. And I'm applying this lower into the inner corner, just kind of adding depth to that shade we applied previously, and then blending it upwards into the crease, and then using little circular motions to blend it into that previous shade. You can go back in with that previous brush we did apply the first shade with to kind of blend it out further. Doing the same thing in the outer corner, adding depth, pulling it towards the center of the eye, and then blending upwards, maintaining like a V shape in the outer corner. Once everything's blended together, I'm just going in with that larger blending brush again and just getting rid of any harsh edges, and using the little small pencil brush again to apply that shade to the lower lash line to add a little bit more depth, bringing it about 2/3 of the way in where the hairs stop growing there in the inner corner. Next, with a flat shader brush from the craft store, I'm dipping into the shade Sheen and applying this lightly in the center of the eye for the spotlight type effect, bringing it up above the crease and kind of feathering it out on the edges. Just kind of softly pulling it to the sides, like so. You want this to kind of be the focus of the look. I'm slowly building it up. If you wanted to go in a little bit more intensely than I did, you could wet your brush or go in with your finger, and the shadow will apply in more of like a foil-like manner. But I like this glittery soft look. Next, I'm applying the shade Fair in the inner corner with that shader brush from the craft store, and then just kind of feathering it outwards onto the lower lash line area and inner corner, pulling it onto the lid. Next, from Pacifica Beauty, I'm using the Minty eyeliner, and I'm going to be lining the upper lash line. I like to make sure I sharpen the pencil before I get started, so I'm starting my line here in the inner corner, and then just slowly feathering it across. It doesn't have to go all the way in, I just kind of brought mine in all the way because we're going to be blending it into a red type shade, but I'm doing this in little tiny strokes just so I can be more neat. Using little gentle strokes, like pulling it outwards and inwards, just trying to keep that top edge sharp, like so. Making it a little bit thicker here in the outer corner and filling any gaps, bringing it all the way to that lash line, putting a tiny bit on the inner corner. Next, I'm using the Revlon Color Stay Liner in shade But First Wine, drawing an inner corner wing and using this red shade from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Fall Romance palette to blend it in, drawing in an outer corner wing. And then I'm going to be using that crimson shade from the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette again to blend it into that teal shade. So I'm just making this wing about the same thickness of that teal liner we applied, and then filling it in, just so this is like the concentrated color right before it's blended into the other shade to create like a gradient between the two. Pulling it inwards a little bit. So here's that shade Crimson. I'm using this liner brush from Huda Beauty. This one is no longer available, but you could use like any liner brush or shader brush from the craft store. So I'm just kind of lightly feathering it and flicking it towards the center to blend the two shades together, like so. Just using a very light hand with this. I really love how this crimson color looks with the teal. Next, I'm just adding a little bit of that crimson shade to the lower lash line, bringing it about halfway in, just to add a little bit of depth. Curling my lashes with a velour lash curler and adding a little bit of Pacifica Beauty Activist Volume Mascara. And then adding velour lashes in Style Minimalist, I trimmed them and applied them to the underside of my lashes. I do have an affiliate code, Ashley20 for 20% off if you do want to check it out. And that completes the look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the look. Be sure to check out my blog, ashleykaylamakeup.com. All products are linked down below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.